The same Sarah Silverman that together with Bill Maher dismissively laughed at everyone not voting for Hillary. They were compelling them to vote for Hillary so we wouldn't be in this situation with Trump as president. Then they should have fought at the convention. We knew Hillary would give us a Trump, only the asshole establishment did not listen, and here we have a Trump because of them. They need to sit down and shut the fuck up. Time for the progressives to take the party back from the corporatist shills. Hillary got more votes than Bernie, and even Bernie Sanders says the polls that were taken against him and Trump were very early and wouldn't have reflected reality. I think the only person who in hindsight could have beaten Trump is Joe Biden. Bullshit. Look to those with brains. They all say it was Bernie who should have been nominated to beat the Trumples. You guys hate that you were so wrong and stuck to your Hillary and now blame everyone but Hillary. No responsibility for fucking over the country. And here we are with Trump as President of the United States. Everyone with half a brain knew that Hillary was the wrong choice. There are 3,141 counties in the United States. Trump won 3,084 of them. Clinton won 57. Let that sink in for a second. That is exactly why the Electoral College exists. The popular vote doesn't mean anything when you look at the country as a whole. The popular vote is the country as a whole. What do you mean? Electoral College could be any which way, no matter how you slice it. It is still not a democratic vote by the people. We need one person, one vote, not county by county or city by city or gerrymandered whatever. No, those 57 counties do not decide what the other 3,084 counties want. Sorry, sister, but you are wrong. LA, Chicago, New York, and Houston do not get to decide what the rest of the country wants, and that is exactly what happened. The EC did exactly what it was designed to do. These 57 counties contain most of the people and most of the economic output in the country. Why should a minority tell the majority how to live? That all depends on what you consider the majority. It's the minority of the landmass, but the majority of the population. You're making that assumption. I doubt you study economics. I have a bachelor's in economics and am planning on getting a PhD in economics. Look it up. The Brooklyn Institute conducted a study. Clinton won 400 US counties. They produced 66% of US economic output. Trump won 2,000 counties. They produced the other one-third. These few counties produce the money. Democratic states subside Republican states. These few counties produce the money. Democrat states subside Republican states. Clearly not. What about the entire states of Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Georgia? Texas is a swing state. Now Clinton lost it by less than she won Maine, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. Florida has been a swing state. Pennsylvania is a new grad on the economy. All Republican states are a net drag on the economy. Financial Times conducted a study about the US's transfer payment union, and their findings showed that total government spending in concentrated Republican states. Just stops there. I wouldn't disagree with that. The vast majority of welfare is corporate welfare, so that is entirely believable. Also in Texas and Florida, the blue counties vote Democrat and produce most of the economic output. The rural counties overwhelmingly vote Republican and steal from the Democratic counties. Dallas, Houston, Austin produce all economic output in Texas and are controlled and vote Democrat. Florida, Miami, and the other cities vote Democrat, but the rural counties vote Republican and steal their money. Republicans are moochers. The data is there. They don't produce anything. That happened after the primaries. No shiz, Sherlock. They weren't the only two. They have loads of money. They do not give a fuck about your average person. I'll never forgive them for what they said about Gary Johnson. Chef Adam Bernie didn't fight for himself at the convention. True statement, much informed. We knew Hillary would give us a Trump, only the asshole establishment did not listen, and here we have a Trump because of them. Most of the polls I saw before the primary said exactly that. If Hillary was the candidate, they lost to Trump. Most polls suggested Bernie would have won against Trump. I hope he runs in 2020. The Electoral College is bullshit. It's tyranny of the minority. As a liberal living in SC, my vote doesn't even count for who becomes president. The 9 electoral votes are going to go red despite what I do, so why should I even bother leaving the House? The Electoral College disenfranchises voters like me. Voting should work like this. One vote is the same as everyone else's. The importance of your vote shouldn't be determined by how the rest of my community votes. Rural, Midwest, and swing states shouldn't have more voting power than solid red states in the South or the bustling coastal cities. The votes should all be pooled into two numbers, votes for Clinton and votes for Trump. That way my vote would count the same as everyone else's. It wouldn't matter how my district votes or my neighbour votes or my county votes, because all of our votes are equal. If you support the Electoral College, then you support the oligarchical political elite. It's undemocratic, it's prone to corruption, and it doesn't reflect the will of the people. Clinton had the potential to do way more damage than Trump. No, she didn't, because her policies aren't as disastrous as Trump's. Not believing in climate change, Muslim registry/immigration ban, or destroying the First Amendment, law and order or police state, opening up the libel laws, or destroying the First Amendment again, being anti-free healthcare and higher education, being pro-Second Amendment or allowing 30,000 people to die a year, expanding citizen surveillance or destroying the Fourth Amendment, border wall, import tariffs, absurdist tax cuts for the rich, extreme and broad deregulation across all industries, draining, pouring toxic waste into the swamp, as well as putting the most hawkish and dangerous people in charge of the military, complete and total support of Israel, complete and total support of Russia, increased military budget, increased torture and less government transparency. As well, she would have had to deal with a majority Republican House and Senate, meaning she would have been gridlocked on everything. Clinton was just as war hawkish, if not more. Also pro-police state, also pro-Israel. Most of that you could say about Clinton, and the Democrats would let her get away with it because she's a Democrat. Let's wait and see what happens. Maybe Trump will turn on the conservatives like Obama did to the liberals. Think of the entertainment factor this time around. With Clinton, it would have been so boring. More jobs shipped overseas, more wars, less constitutional rights, more corporate welfare, just all more of the same. More deadly pills, on and on and on. Like I said, we have a better chance with Trump. Here's a wild card. I don't think you understand this. Trump has a full green light to do anything. Hillary wouldn't have won if she had won, I guess they meant. That means all of Trump's absolutely horrific economic plans that he said he would create a new trickle-down-like system and would restrict trade from a purely protectionist standpoint, which for the US is near completely impossible, could now be enacted. In terms of war hawkishness, I think Trump was more of a wild card. If Clinton were to declare war on anyone, it'd be Russia, but the chance of such a thing occurring was near impossible. As well, Russia is an economically weak regime with the entirety of the West against them. Trump, I feel like, would declare war on anybody because of anything. As well, he's obviously a hawk, as he's considering John Bolton for Secretary of State, no doubt the most hawkish and horrific diplomat of all time. Don't forget about Mathis or Giuliani as well. Both of them will go to war with the entire Middle East if they had the chance. Clinton was pro-Israel, but not to the point of straight-up Zionist support, which Trump's team has demonstrated. As well, she didn't in any way advocate for a police state, unlike Trump, and didn't threaten people's constitutional rights in any way. If you think Trump is to betray conservatives, you have obviously not been paying attention to his transition team. And don't forget about Trump's love of torture and war crimes, which could potentially lead to sanctions when our economy inevitably collapses under Trump. I see what he's doing. You're smoothing out Clinton way more than she deserves, almost like selective memory or straight-up ignorance. The Clinton-Bush era is over. It is time to move on. I hope the Democrat establishment failures don't do too much damage under Trump. Yes, any damage done is the fault of the establishment Democrats. If the Democrats continue to play this right-wing game, Republicans will win more elections. Don't think we won't sit it out again. They either represent us or they don't. I don't want to vote for a pro-war right-wing corporate Democrat, and I won't ever. Corporatist Democrat. Hillary was all about setting up these wars and the spy programs and the come on, man, no more of the same. Hopefully Trump will kick their asses hard and stop giving them weapons and maybe stop protecting the poppy fields. Do you have any idea what the fuck has been going on? Democrats did nothing to stop any of this, and in fact they legalized constitution law-breaking government activities illegally. Hope you can wrap your head around that shit. 2006 and on has been a catastrophe for liberals wanting change. Sick of voting for bullshit, aren't you? Oh yeah, you aren't even aware. Never mind. Because they're the liberal hierarchy mindlessly pushing Democrat corporate think tank talking points. Hopefully he hands it all over to Putin. Let them all hate Russia. We don't need their oil, and much of Europe has gone green as we should. And all the money and soldiers' lives we would save. And the reduction in terrorism would save us a ton. All that money could go to help Europe get their oil they need, as they and well all could make a concerted effort to transform our energy to green sources. People in America need to stop having different opinions. Why do we need different perspectives anyway? People in America are acting like it's a free country. Also, liberal hierarchy mindlessly pushing Democrat corporate think tank talking points is a mindless conservative talking point. You do realize that Donald Trump lost the popular vote by nearly 3 million votes. He only won the election by about 100,000 votes between 3 states. The overwhelming majority of Americans did not want Donald Trump to be president. When the alternative choice is Donald Trump, Hillary seems decent.